All right, all right, all right, all right. We are back somewhat. We got a little bit of a connection here. Let me see. We're testing something out. We're testing something out here, okay? So hopefully this works out. But we're testing something. We got the camera, we got the mic, and hopefully this works out. Oh, that's good. All right, Matt. I appreciate you. Can you hear me good? Before we get started, can you hear me good? Because this is going to be a bit, if this works, this will be the setup moving forward. If this works. Well, for at least for the Millennium Marketing Morning Show, at least. If you can hear me good, let me know. Because let's go. All right. So, oh man, it feels so good to have. I miss this microphone. I miss this camera. Okay, so let's get started. So today I wanted to ask you all a question. Have you all ever just wanted to just make enough income, but while you're sleeping, not on a day job, you just have the ability to make the passive income that you want, and you want to do it with products that you previously made, but you don't have to be there to sell. How many of you have ever thought about that? I know I have. Well, I want to offer to you that streaming through Spotify, especially, and a lot of these other DSPs or digital service providers are not the best way to do it. This is the Millennium Marketing Morning Show. My name is Avedon Smith, and welcome to the show. So, today, we have a lot to touch on. Let me put this phone, because now that I'm using my phone, I got to be extra aware of the sounds. So let me just go ahead and put this on silent for now. All right. Cool. All right. So with this, I wanted to give you all a backstory about my blog days. Back in 2010, 2011, I would definitely have the time to go ahead, make music, and then try to put it up on blogs, right? But before I could put it up on blogs, is my camera okay? Hold up. There we go. Before I could put it up on blogs, I had to add the beats to an album of sorts to a website called Bandcamp. Bandcamp would allow me to basically sell to anyone I want, and I could either name my price, or if I didn't name my price, they would be willing to pay whatever I said the album is for, right? So, or sometimes I just gave it for free because they were like sampled instrumentals, and people would just pay for it then. But what happened was people would be excited to work with me on Bandcamp, and some people would actually donate and give. When that happened, I actually was able to get some of their email addresses and follow up with them in the future. So moving forward, we have Spotify years later offering artists, who sign up through DistroKid, where they can put their music up and have it streamed through so many different platforms. So you got your music streamed through Spotify, Apple Music, what have you, everything. It's on Pandora, anything you could think of, you could basically have your music streamed towards. Matter of fact, if those of you who create content on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok for shorts and everything, you can even have your music streamed through there for that as well. So, which that's a low-key benefit. That'll be a bonus we could touch on at the end if we have time. So with Spotify, I have a few issues because I actually have Spotify, and because we are live, I can actually show y'all on my phone why I have a few issues with Spotify. So I have Spotify for artists. Good morning, Jess. How are you doing? I forgot to highlight y'all and everything to show what y'all saying. Good morning, Jess. So for Spotify, right? Spotify for artists. I don't know if y'all be able to see. If I could Hold up. No, I didn't want to touch that. So as you see right here, right? Spotify gives me all of this. It lets me know how many people listened in the last 7 days. So in the last 7 days, this is my views on Spotify, right? And I'll come back. I'll come back soon. And they even show you, you know, your top songs and everything. Let me move this back. There we go. Your top songs and things of that nature. You can see your top playlists, things of that nature. So for the most part, Spotify, you know, is pretty decent. But here's the kicker that I think that a lot of us don't like about Spotify. You don't have any relationship with your consumers. So out of those 41 followers that I showed you, I have no way of knowing who they are. I have no way of knowing how to contact them. Even with YouTube, at least with YouTube, you can have subscribers and people who could comment. But because Spotify doesn't really give you the opportunity to comment on people's videos, there's no way for me to know who's watching, what they like about the music, what they don't like about the music. There's a removal from feedback. And we have a removal from feedback. You have a removal from direct to consumer. The reason why no direct to consumer is going to cost you a lot of money in the future is because what will cause you to go broke, you don't have any way to talk to your excuse me. You don't have any way to talk to your consumer. I want to make sure I'm still on frame. That's all. You don't have any way to follow up with them with an email list. You don't have any way to send them any free music that you have coming out. You don't have any way to let them know that you're coming out with something new. And in many times with Spotify and how you're often heard or exposed, you're often exposed and heard in other people's playlists, or you're often heard in a shuffle in a mix of other artists. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, you know, you gotta, you know, stand out, make yourself stand out more. And here's the thing. The reason why I don't like the idea of you have to make yourself stand out in the midst of a whole bunch of other people is because that implies that everybody's in the same lane as you. That implies that everyone has the same thing to offer as you, so that you have to put yourself in a position where, well, you got to shine hard enough for people to want to follow you after that. Yes and no. Because Spotify decides who they put you in front of, not you. If this is about you deciding who you get to put your stuff in front of, like YouTube, you actually have a little bit more control of who you get in front of by how you title your how you form your thumbnail, how you title your videos and write your description. You actually have a lot more control in getting in front of the people who you need to get in front of. Spotify, you don't have that opportunity. Spotify, if the most you have is to be put in the genre you said your music is, but even then, some of those genres are so generic in a sense. Up, don't do that, don't do that, viewer, don't do that. So hopefully we get this done under 30 minutes because this camera likes to go off sometimes. Yeah, Spotify, they don't exactly give you the space to really put yourself in front of a lot of people that you want to be put in front of. So if you can't put yourself in a position yourself in front of people who you know would like your music, and also on top of that, you have no way of finding out who they are. They have no way of contacting you. They have no way of knowing more. And when I say no way of contacting you, how many of you, be honest, give me a wave in the chat. I want some participation here. How many of you, when you heard something on one platform, you immediately go to other platforms to try to find them? How often do you do that? You may do it every now and then, but how often do you do that? There's too much time in the day. There's too many things to do in the day to do that. And that's making it harder on a consumer. Why should a consumer have to go research you on other platforms to try to get in contact with you? I'm just saying. So moving on to our next point. The only thing that you have in it is only analytical data. You only have analytical data that other than when I say analytical data, you only have their demographics. So you only have where they're from, how old they are, and that's pretty much it. What's going on, Aaron? So, point number 2. There is no way, if you're in business, and first of all, this is for those of you who are in business, there is no way to upsell to the people that you are watching, or the people who are watching you on Spotify. Well, excuse me, listening. I'm on YouTube, so that's why I'm saying watching. There's no way for the people who are listening to you that you can upsell to them. There's no way that you can say, hey, if you like, the music, support us by buying some of our merch. There's no way for you to upsell to them. And Spotify does have a merch store, but please believe, because it's through them, you again still don't have any contact to give them exactly what they would desire. The power of email lists that I think a lot of people miss, and newsletters, things of that nature, is the opportunity to build a relationship with the fans outside of the product. And if an artist can't build a relationship in the age of digital media, then that artist is going to be disadvantaged. Is this making sense? I'm going to say it again. If an artist does not have a way to digitally make a relationship with their consumers in the age of digital media, they will be disadvantaged. Because here's the thing. Again, you get to listen to the music. You get to listen to the music all the time on stream. You can listen to the music, watch this, at no charge to the consumer. But that artist, which I'm going to get to this point last, that artist does not have the ability to sell them a physical album. That artist does not have the ability to sell them a vinyl album at the price they set. Those of you who are artists, those of you who are creators, imagine this. You create something, right? But you don't have the jurisdiction to set the price over something you created. Does that make sense to you? You create an album, you spent hours upon hours upon hours on this album, from the inspiration that was needed to the traveling you did to gain inspiration, to the lyrics you wrote, to the experiences that contributed to those lyrics. All of these things you have put into an album. And then now after you put in all these experiences, a website will tell you, yeah, you can sell it for this much, but we want this much out of you. You don't have room to say, I want 100% of the proceeds because I've worked on this. I'm covering the overhead. I'm covering all these other things. So I would like 100% of the proceeds. And you don't even get a fraction of that. Imagine putting your whole album on Spotify, right? And it takes you, and shout out to my brother Curtis King for this, because he actually provided a lot of great information on this. He has been one of the leaders in this conversation. I was going to try to pull up his stuff, but I'm not going to overdo it with this setup. I'm still working with this setup right here. So here's the thing. But I would say it takes about, he got on a different platform. It showed the equivalence of streams it would cost to the amount. He made over $3,000, right? In 7 days. And 7 days was the equivalence of 1 million streams. Now watch this. Answer me in the chat. Answer me this in the chat. Is it easier to get 1 million streams, or is it easier to sell an album at a price that you let people pay at a minimum of $10? They could pay more if they want to, and make $3,000 and get that equivalence of 1 million streams based upon how many people are willing to actually pay and support. You could make a lot more money by going direct to consumer, and faster at that, than you do, I get a couple of cents a day. Like, think about that for a second. You got over thousands of streams and you only got cents. You got pennies. Excuse me. I forgot my water. You only got pennies for all those streams. Is that worth it? That will keep you broke. And the reason why I'm really so passionate about this, because here's the thing. The ending payoff doesn't match the value you put in. Like, I think I'm gonna shout out Curtis again for this, because he shared a video where Snoop basically got over 1 billion streams. 1 billion streams, right? And the equivalence of that was, I think, a little bit less or a little bit more. It's in this range of $45,000. 1 billion streams and $45,000. Could you, like, that? Tell me the reason why that bothers me. Less than 1% of those streams was his payoff. That's why relying on streaming will keep you broke, because most people will not get 1 billion streams on Spotify. I'm not here to break dreams. I'm being honest. Most people will not get that many streams. And to only leave out with $45,000 after that? Listen, there are people making $20 an hour with bonuses here and there at the end of the year, leaving at the end of the year with that much money. Like, think about that. You people who make $30 an hour are making more than that at their day job. And to get 1 billion streams, you got to be either A-list famous or work really hard. Is this resonating with anybody? Because I don't want people, and the reason why I want this to correlate, because the next part I'm gonna come at with this. This is why you should not rely on YouTube ad revenue. There, I said it. This is why you should not rely on YouTube ad revenue as your main thing. Because if you rely on YouTube ad revenue as your main thing, it's almost similar. YouTube is a bit better than Spotify, but it's almost similar. You can make a lot more money and a lot more money faster if you have your own model. Don't get me wrong now. You can make some really good change off YouTube. And the thing about YouTube, the reason why YouTube is a bit better, actually is a lot better. The reason why YouTube is a lot better, you could post a video from now and 7 years from now, that video is still making you money. That's the beauty side of it. So YouTube could be treated as real passive income, because as long as the video provides value for a lifetime, the video will get played for a lifetime. Music in most cases doesn't get played for a lifetime. It gets played for a period, for a cultural period, and then after a while, people stop watching YouTube. I mean, people stop listening to that artist. So there is so much with that, but like I said, I appreciate the YouTube platform, because there are, at least with YouTube, again, they give you a lot more diversifying income options that you could do through them. But at the same time, they don't frown on you for linking people to your website, to linking people to your programs, to linking people to your other social media platforms, so that you can create a business off of this. Stop relying on streaming. Stop relying on ad revenue as your main gig. Make it the side hustle. If you make it the side hustle, you'll be a lot happier. Any questions? Any comments? I can't believe we are actually somewhat back. Somewhat. It's good seeing y'all this morning too, by the way. How is everyone doing? I keep hitting the wrong I keep hitting the other keyboard down here. I forgot I got used to the laptop. So what I'm doing right now is I'm streaming from the laptop. But basically, let me get back into this. Aaron Shack said, I'd rather be selling an album direct to consumer and building a relationship with the borrower, they're making 0.031 per play. Yep. 45K is nothing, is an insane amount for those views. Let me see. I can't see the emojis here, but I know you got emojis here. Ad revenue isn't paying the bills, man. It's super temperamental. Yep. Great stuff. I'm glad. Membership splits are compared. Yeah. See, that great point, Aaron. Memberships are probably the best on YouTube out of everywhere else. I will say that. Memberships on YouTube are amazing compared to other places. The only other place that if you don't want to do a membership on YouTube, I would highly, 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 highly recommend Patreon. Patreon probably is the best when it comes to memberships, but to have an in-platform membership set up, I will give it to YouTube all the way. So, yeah, glad you're doing good. Doing great, brother. How are you? If you want the proceeds to go somewhere, I think you should choose where it goes. Exactly. We are on the same wavelength. We were talking about Patreon. I kind of was delayed on your end. We definitely are talking about Patreon, man. Hold on. Let me see if I can log myself in. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that right now. I was gonna go over on Twitter and everything. This setup is super makeshift. So, did we get a new camera and a mic? See, Key. Here's the thing. This is me before my computer went down. Right, my computer's still down, but I still have my HP laptop from back in the day. So, cleaned up the laptop last night. Excuse me. Cleaned up the laptop last night and basically got everything together, and it worked out. It worked out pretty well. So I just now noticed it's 8:57. I'm like, so I got to get on out of here. But this was really good. It worked out much better than I think. This is the quality that I'm used to. I don't sound like I'm in a air vent anymore. You actually getting the full quality of my voice. You're getting the full quality of my camera. This is way better than a Joe Rogan show. I appreciate you, my brother. We're definitely gonna get on out of here, but I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming out for the Millennium Marketing Morning Show. I'm gonna see y'all on Monday. For those of you who are subscribed to the Sort of Good Ground YouTube page, we'll be live tomorrow for the Acknowledge Him podcast and Sunday morning for the Bible study as well. That being said, if you all enjoyed this live stream and want me to come back with this setup, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and most of all, you make sure you share this with a friend. This is Avedon, and we are out. Peace.